good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This rain is really. Is it still raining?
No.
It is like England. Yeah, and then I watched the wedding yesterday, and look, it had no rain. So it's crazy. Who watched the wedding yesterday?
I did not.
What is that in? And you're kind of. I kind of watched the wedding.
Oh, I watched it. The fan too.
How many?
I want to sleep.
Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, well, it's interesting that I mentioned the wedding because we're actually going to talk about kind of like a wedding today in this section of Revelation, and we'll get to that later. But last week we talked about the beginning of Revelation. This week we're going to talk about the end of Revelation. We've skipped all the middle. We've come right to the end. So if you want to read the middle, go ahead and do it. So who remembers what we talked about last week?
We talked about where John was when he got the vision, how did God present himself during the vision, and the first stage of the vision.
Okay.
And also the churches that he would be sending the letter of the vision outward to.
Good. Who wrote Revelation?
John.
John who?
John the Beloved.
John the Disciple, not John the Baptist. He was not around after that. Where was it written?
John Apostle?
Patmos.
Yep, Patmos, the island of Patmos, which is part of which country? Turkey. Greece. And then when was it written? Anyone? 93, close?
87 AD?
No. 95, good job, 95 AD. Again, why was it written? Why would we write? What was the point of this book? Cloud.
Well, God showed a vision to John, and he was like, "Go tell people about this.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it'll be worthless."
It'd be worthless. Yeah. Anyone else? What are the reasons? There's several reasons why this was written. That was one of them. Anyone else remember from last week? No? Nobody?
Comfort for the churches?
Yes. Yeah, very important. Come for the churches. What was happening to the churches at that time?
Persecution.
Persecution. So that was pretty bad stuff was going on. So you want to give some hope and some comfort to the church and say, hey, it's going to be fine, guys. Everything's going to be okay. Here's a couple of other reasons to remind us that Jesus will return. That's very, very important. To remind us that God is the creator, he is in control, to warn us of what is to come, to give Christians hope, which is what we just talked about, to tell us that Satan will be defeated. He will be defeated. He thinks he's going to win. He still thinks he's going to win. I don't know why. He's going to be defeated. And to give us the final chapter of what is going to happen in this world. Then we talked about the 7 churches of Revelation. Do you guys remember what they were called? Anyone? They're all up there. Anyone know from memory? No? Can you name one? One's really easy. It's in this country. Philadelphia. That's the easy one. Yeah. Anyone else? Ephesus. Good. Because Pergamon. That's 3.
Laodicea.
Laodicea.
Thyatira.
5. Can we get a 6? Can I get a 7? I feel like I'm on an auction. Alright, this is a hard one. So, Sardis and Smyrna. Sounds like a Smyrna. Sounds like a funny place. Okay, so now we're going to go all the way back to the end of Revelation, and we're going to start Revelation 21, 1 to 2. I'm not going to talk a lot today, because I want you to have really good discussion on these next couple of verses, because there's so much here. Who would like to read verse 1?
Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more.
Okay, so there's a lot there. Here is what it could look like. No one really knows. There are lots of different pictures and lots of different artists' impressions of how this can happen. But basically a new heaven and a new earth will suddenly appear out of the sky. The earth we're on right now is going to pass away, so this is going to be no longer. So if you are a very rich person, have millions of dollars in the bank, it's all gone. You know, if you have if you collect comic books, they're all gone. Anything you have, it's all gone. Okay? So don't be collecting too many things. It'll all be gone, and we'll never see it again. Now, what do you think why, if we'll go back, it says the sea was no more. What's that? There was no more sea. There's no more sea. What's the purpose of the sea?
To separate nations of the world?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Yeah, anything else? Yep. Yeah.
keep us
You know,
hydrated?
there is no right or wrong answer here. There's a lot of people thinking various things. One is that the beast will rise from the sea and the water will splash everywhere and there's no need to hide the beast in the sea. There's loads of different ideas. Absolutely nobody knows for certain why. But can you imagine a world with no sea? Yeah, it's pretty crazy thing. Okay, moving on, verse 2. You guys can talk a lot more about that in your groups, I know you will. Verse 2, who wants to read verse 2?
I also saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared like a bride adorned for her husband.
Okay, so I thought it was really interesting we had a wedding yesterday, and we're talking about this passage here. I also saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down. So, we're going to see a new city coming down from where? Oh, you just pointed upwards? Alright, I know the answer. Yes, from up there, which is heaven. It even says it, okay?
Yeah.
And then it says, from God, prepared like a bride adorned for her husband. What does that mean? Any idea? If you saw the wedding yesterday, maybe you'll have kind of like an idea. Yes?
Well, it means that our city will be decorated, purely glorified, and prepared for us, because, yeah.
Yeah? Good answer. I'll tell you a quick story. I tried to find a picture of it, but I couldn't find a picture of it. So I was telling a story to some of the staff. When I got married, and the first time I saw my wife, like, coming in, there's a picture, and I don't know what's going on, but I remember when I saw her for the first time, I was like, oh, she's so beautiful. And my face was just like radiant, and I was just so amazed at what I was seeing. And so when I try to put it into that context, I think that when we see that, all of us will be just so amazed, we won't even know what we're seeing. It'll be the most beautiful thing we've ever seen. Just like I thought my wife was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, ever. And the thought behind it is that when a woman gets married, this is what some commentators are saying, she's at her most beautiful that she's ever been, because she's about to be married, she's about to start a whole new life, she's got her wedding dress on, makeup, hair, everything. And so this is supposed to be like kind of that similarity there, where we'll see that Jerusalem will be the most beautiful thing that we've ever seen. Okay? And there's some images here, oops, wrong one, right there, what it could look like. Nobody knows. We have no idea what it will look like at all. But there you see several images there of what it could like. I really like the one where the people on the beach and it's coming down. They're on vacation and then the new Jerusalem comes down. I think that's my favourite one. But the sea is still there, so I guess that's a little bit confusing. And then right at the top right you see John there, so I guess that's him seeing the image. I really like that one there as well. Okay, Revelation 21:3. Who would like to read this? Yes.
Then I heard a loud voice from the throne. Look, God's dwelling is with humanity, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them, and will be their God.
Yes, so God will live with us. God will dwell with us. He will be with us, and everything will be happy. There's a very interesting, Matthew, when you read they will be his people, you read people, not peoples. That's not a grammatical error. In the original language, it was written as plural because it meant to signify when we're all together, we'll all be together, all diversities, all ethnicities, all people from all nations, we're all going to be together, okay? So that's the idea. When we go to heaven, we will all be together, there'll be no differences between any of us, Jew or Gentile, British or American, we'll all be friends, and we'll all love each other. Who would like to read the next verse? Yes.
Okay. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Grief, crying, and pain will be no more, because the previous things have passed away.
What a promise this is. There will no more be death, no more grief, no more crying, no pain, no more school exams, no nothing. It will be a joyous, happy day. None of that.
That got their attention.
Yes.
No
And for us adults, there'll be no work. We won't have to go to work. Well, we'll probably still have to work in heaven, but we won't have to go to work at a job we don't like, or maybe we do like, or then we wouldn't be stressed at work. All of it will be gone. All gone, because it says all the previous things have passed away, and all the previous things it's talking about is what's going on in our lives right now, because we all have to deal with so much. We have to deal with people dying, we have to deal with grief, we have to deal with pain, whether it's physical or mental. We have to deal with all sorts of stress, anxiety, depression, all these types of things, which is part of sin, is what happens when we're here. But in heaven, all of it is gone, done, finished. I think that's really, really exciting and definitely a reason for us to look forward to. Then, Revelation 21:5, the final verse we're going to look at. Who would like to read this? Yes, PJ.
Then the one seated on the throne said, "Look, I'm making everything new." He also said, "Right, because these words are faithful and true."
So everything, the one who's seated on the throne said, who's the one seated on the throne? Everyone should know this. Who's on the throne? Who's the king? God! Jesus! God! On the throne! Look, I'm making everything new, he also said. And then, of course, right, because these words are faithful and true. These words are true. He's basically saying, what I'm telling you is true. Nothing else is not true. So this is true. So we're going to go into our discussion time now. We're actually going to look at those verses again, but we're also going to go a little bit further. And you're also going to look at verse 22, sorry, not verse 22, chapter 22, which will give you a really good description of what heaven is going to look like. So I think you guys are going to really enjoy this discussion time today, okay? All right, guys, you are dismissed to your tables.